Welcome back to Golden Era Coins, your trusted source for everything about rare, old, and valuable United States coins. In today's video, we're going to uncover the fascinating story, hidden history, and the true collector's value of the 1990p Liberty $quarter coin. Don't underestimate this small piece of change. Some of these coins could be worth much more than just 25 cents. So make sure you watch till the very end, because you might just discover that a simple quarter sitting in your pocket is actually worth big money in today's market. Let's begin with the history and background of the Liberty $quarter coin of 1990. The quarter is one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States, and the design you see on this 1990 quarter belongs to the famous Washington Quarter series. This design was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birth anniversary of George Washington, the first President of the United States. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll see the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Above his head is the word Liberty, and just below his chin, the phrase "I in God we trust" is engraved. Now, since we are focusing on the 1990p quarter, you'll also notice the P Mint mark just beside the ponytail of Washington's bust, which represents the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck. Design narrator. On the reverse side, the coin carries the classic heraldic eagle design. The eagle is perched with its wings spread wide, holding arrows in its talons with olive branches beneath. Above the eagle, you can clearly see the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, while at the bottom, the denomination $quarter is displayed. This reverse eagle design was used for many decades, until it was replaced in 1999 by the State Quarters program. Now, let's dive into the history of the 1990p Liberty Quarter. The Philadelphia Mint produced a massive number of these coins, over 613 million pieces in circulation. Because of such a high mintage, most of the 1990p quarters were considered common and were used daily by millions of Americans for decades. However, what makes certain 1990 quarters valuable are their condition, rarity in high grades, and possible minting errors. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that survived circulation without scratches, marks, or wear. These are known as mint state coins, and they can sell for much more than face value. If your 1990p quarter is heavily circulated, meaning it has scratches and wear, then it's usually worth its face value of 25 cents. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, or better yet, in mint state grades like MS65, MS66, or even MS67, collectors will pay a premium. For example, a typical mint state 1990p quarter in MS65 condition can sell for around $5 to $10. In higher grades such as MS66 or MS67, the value jumps significantly, reaching anywhere between $50 to $250. And here's the exciting part: rare examples graded MS68 have been auctioned for several $100s, sometimes pushing over $1,000, simply because of their scarcity in such pristine condition. But wait, it doesn't end there. Era coins from 1990 can be worth a small fortune. Some collectors have discovered quarters with double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and weak strikes, which drastically increase their value. For instance, a 1990p quarter with a dramatic off-center error could fetch $100 to $300, while a double die variety or a full blockage error could easily go for several $100s depending on rarity. That's why checking your coins carefully is so important. You never know what you might have. In today's coin market, the demand for early 1990s quarters has been increasing, especially for those in top condition. With the State Quarter program starting in 1999, many collectors are now turning back to earlier Washington quarters to complete their sets, and that includes the 1990p issue. While millions were minted, finding a flawless, untouched quarter from 1990 is actually harder than it sounds. Most coins were used heavily in everyday commerce. This is why coin grading and preservation matters so much. A coin that looks ordinary to you might be a hidden gem to a collector. So the next time you're going through your loose change, pay close attention to any 1990 Liberty $quarter coins with the P Mint mark. Who knows, the coin in your hand might not just be worth 25 cents, but instead hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if it's in excellent condition or has a rare minting error. Coins are more than just currency, they are tiny pieces of American history, telling stories of the past while holding surprising value in the present. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to Golden Era Coins, and share this video with fellow coin collectors and treasure hunters. And let us know in the comments, have you ever found a rare or valuable quarter in your change? We'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story, and every story could be worth more than you think. Until next time, happy collecting! Would you like me to also create a short, catchy YouTube title and description for this script so it's SEO friendly and attracts maximum views? Today, we're going to talk about one of the most interesting and historic coins in American history, the 1965 Liberty $quarter coin. At first glance, it might look like just another everyday quarter, the kind you could find in your pocket change, but trust me, this coin carries with it a rich history, a surprising story, and in some cases, it could be worth big money. So stay tuned, watch till the end, and let's uncover the hidden treasure behind the 1965 Liberty $quarter. To truly understand the 1965 quarter, we need to step back into history. For decades before 1965, United States quarters were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. These beautiful silver coins were not just money, they were real silver assets in the hands of everyday Americans. But during the early 1960s, something unexpected happened. The price of silver began to rise sharply in the global market. By 1964, the intrinsic silver content inside quarters and dimes was worth almost the same as the face value of the coins themselves. People started hoarding silver coins, melting them down, and pulling them out of circulation. This caused a nationwide coin shortage and pushed the U.S. Mint into a crisis. So in 1965, a huge change took place in American coinage history. The U.S. Mint officially removed silver from the $quarter and introduced a brand new composition. Instead of silver, the 1965 quarter was made of a clad composition, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. This gave the coin its distinctive sandwich look. When viewed from the edge, you could actually see the copper layer in the middle. This was the birth of the modern clad quarter, and 1965 was the very first year of this change. That is what makes this coin so historically important. It marks the end of an era of silver coinage and the beginning of modern coinage in the United States. Unlike most other years, the 1965 quarter has no mint mark at all. That's because during the coin shortage crisis, the U.S. Mint decided to remove mint marks completely, from 1965 through 1967. This was done to discourage collectors from hoarding coins based on mint mark differences. So, if you look at your 1965 Liberty quarter and notice there's no D for Denver or S for San Francisco, don't worry, it's not an error. Every 1965 quarter comes without a mint mark, regardless of where it was minted. The total mintage was massive, over 1.8 billion coins were struck, making it one of the highest mintages of any U.S. quarter. Now let's talk about the real question every collector wants to know. How much is the 1965 Liberty quarter worth today, in circulated condition? Most 1965 quarters are still only worth their face value of 25 cents. That's because so many of them were made and they are still commonly found in pocket change even today. However, when we move into uncirculated and high-grade examples, things get much more exciting. A 1965 quarter in mint state condition, with full luster and no wear, can be worth anywhere between $5 to $25, depending on the grade. But the real gems are the highly graded coins certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. A 1965 quarter graded MS-66 or higher can sell for hundreds of dollars at auctions. And believe it or not, a few ultra-high grade examples, like MS-67 or MS-68, have sold for over $2,000 to $7,000. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Some 1965 quarters have rare mint errors that make them worth thousands of dollars. One of the most famous is the 1965 Silver Transitional Era Quarter. Because 1965 was the year the mint switched from silver to clad, a small number of quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets intended for 1964 quarters. If you find a 1965 quarter that weighs about 6.25 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams, it could actually be a silver transitional era coin. These are extremely rare and can be worth $5,000, $10,000, or even more depending on condition. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, double die obverse or reverse clipped planchets struck through errors. These error coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity. The current collector market for the 1965 quarter is very active. Most everyday circulated coins will not bring much more than 25 cents, but collectors are always on the lookout for those high-grade examples and error varieties. Auction records show that in recent years, the finest known examples in MS-68 have sold for prices ranging from $5,000 to $10,000. This shows just how much demand there is among serious collectors for even a common coin when it's in rare pristine condition. So, while most 1965 quarters in circulation are just pocket change, the right one in the right condition could literally be worth big money. So there you have it, my friends, the fascinating story of the 1965 Liberty $quarter coin. It may look ordinary, but it represents a turning point in U.S. coinage history, the end of silver quarters, and the start of the clad era. Most are worth face value, but high-grade examples and rare error coins can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. That's why you should always check your change carefully. You never know when you might stumble upon a treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1965 quarter, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Golden Era Coins, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our updates on coin values, rare varieties, and hidden treasures in U.S. history. And don't forget, share this video with fellow coin enthusiasts, because knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting for coins and uncovering the hidden value of history in your hands. Would you like me to also write you a shorter version of this script so you can use it for a quick YouTube Shorts or TikTok style video alongside the full-length one? Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1993 P Liberty $quarter coin from the United States, a coin that may look simple at first glance, but carries with it history, collector demand, and potential value far beyond face value. If you have a 1993 quarter sitting in a drawer, in your wallet, or maybe even mixed in with your spare change, you're going to want to pay attention, because this coin can be worth much more than just 25 cents. History of the 1993 Liberty $quarter. Let's begin with the background. The $quarter has been one of the most recognized coins in U.S. history, and in 1993, the U.S. Mint continued producing the Washington quarter design, originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1993, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for over 60 years. Designed by John Flanagan, this coin features a profile portrait of George Washington on the obverse, with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the year of mintage, in this case, 1993. On the reverse, we find the classic heraldic eagle design, wings spread wide, arrows and olive branches in its talons, a strong representation of both military readiness and peace. This eagle reverse was used up until 1998, after which it was replaced by the state quarters program starting in 1999. The 1993 P quarter specifically was minted in Philadelphia, denoted by the P mint mark located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Minting and circulation numbers now. How many were made? In 1993, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 639 million quarters with the P mint mark. That's a huge number, and it means the coin is not considered rare in regular circulation. However, as with most coins, what makes them truly valuable are condition, rarity and high grades, errors, and collector demand. Value in circulation. So let's talk about the value of the 1993 P Liberty quarter in circulation. In average circulated condition, most 1993 P quarters are still worth just 25 cents, their face value. But as soon as you get into better preserved coins, those showing very little wear, their value increases slightly. A lightly circulated 1993 P quarter might bring in 50 cents to $1 from collectors who need a nice example for their set. Value in higher grades. Now here's where it gets more interesting. Coins that are preserved in excellent condition, graded by services like PCGS or NGC, can command much higher prices. A Mint State 60 to Mint State 63 coin may be worth anywhere from $2 to $5. A Mint State 65 quarter, which means it's in gem condition with sharp details and minimal marks, can easily sell for $15 to $25. Higher grades such as MS 67 or above are much rarer, and these are the coins that collectors go crazy for. At this level, a 1993 P quarter has been known to sell for hundreds of dollars in auction. In fact, depending on the auction and the specific quality of the coin, a superb example of a 1993 P Liberty quarter in MS 67 condition has sold for prices reaching $500 or more. Valuable era varieties. But the story doesn't stop there. The real treasure lies in the era coins. The US Mint sometimes produces mistakes during the minting process, and collectors pay top dollar for these unusual coins. For the 1993 P quarter, here are some of the most sought-after errors. Off-center strike. If part of the design is missing due to an off-center strike, values can range from $50 to $200, depending on how dramatic the error is. Double die obverse or reverse. A doubling of the letters, numbers, or features can make a 25-cent coin worth hundreds of dollars. Clipped planchet errors. Where a portion of the coin's metal is missing, these can bring in $30 to $100. Broad strikes and wrong planchet errors. Extremely rare, but can skyrocket the coin's value into the thousands. So, if you're sorting through your change and spot something unusual about your 1993 P quarter, don't ignore it. It might just be a hidden jackpot. Current market value. In today's coin market, the 1993 P Liberty quarter has a strong demand, especially for higher grade examples and era varieties. Collectors are always searching for pristine coins to complete their Washington quarter sets. Circulated condition, 25 cents to $1. Uncirculated MS 65, around $15 to $25. MS 67 premium examples, $400 to $500 plus. Era coins, ranging anywhere from $50 to several $1,000s, depending on rarity and type. This means that while most 1993 P quarters are common pocket change, there are specific ones out there that are worth big money today. So, the next time you come across a 1993 P Liberty quarter dollar coin, don't just spend it. Take a closer look, check the condition, and inspect for errors, because what looks like just 25 cents could actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's collector market. Thank you for watching Golden Era Coins, where every coin tells a story and every story has value. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest coin discoveries. Until next time, happy collecting and may your pocket change bring you treasure. Would you like me to also write you a shorter YouTube video description and SEO-friendly tags for this video so you can upload it right away?